A sun rises over hills, it dissolves into the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service logo. Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge.
Hello, I'm Aurelia Skiplip. Today I am here at Pelican Island. It is our first National Wildlife Refuge in our National Wildlife Refuge system. So it's very exciting to be here to lay the planks of some of our newest National Wildlife Refuges, and glad to have them in the system.
Welcome to this year's virtual plank laying ceremony hosted at Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge. I am Sean Sanchez, Acting Chief of the National Wildlife Refuge System. Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge was the first of its kind. Established in 1903, Pelican Island began the network of lands and waters set aside for the conservation of fish, wildlife, and their habitats, known today as the National Wildlife Refuge System. Through the years, it has become tradition to add a plank to the Centennial Trail Boardwalk at Pelican Island, with the name of each new refuge engraved on it. Those visiting the refuge can walk this boardwalk and view a legacy of conservation with a plank for each refuge in the system, which now totals 568. Today we celebrate our three newest refuges: Great Thicket National Wildlife Refuge in New England and New York, San Luis Valley Conservation Area in Colorado, and Green River National Wildlife Refuge in Kentucky. We're also replacing two planks for the recently renamed Grass Lake National Wildlife Refuge and White Horse Hill National Game Preserve. We will now hear from each of the regional directors representing their newest units, beginning with Wendy Weber, Regional Director for the North Atlantic Appalachian Interior Region 1.
Great Thicket National Wildlife
Hi,
Refuge.
I'm Wendy Weber, the Regional Director of the North Atlantic Appalachian Region. I'm sorry I'm not there in person, but I'm honored to join you virtually to celebrate the most recent additions to the National Wildlife Refuge System and add a few more planks to the Centennial Trail at Pelican Island. When I think about Pelican Island, where the refuge system began, I'm inspired to know that this remarkable network of lands and waters continues to grow and thrive. I'm especially gratified that we are adding a new plank for Great Thicket National Wildlife Refuge, which the service established in 2016 in 10 separate areas of New York, Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Great Thicket has important shrublands and young forest habitats that are home to a host of wildlife species, including wood turtles, whippoorwills, blue-winged and prairie warblers, deer, wild turkeys, wood thrushes, and much more. Since the early 2000s, the service and a strong partnership of state, federal, and private organizations and agencies have worked together to restore these types of habitats on private and public lands in the Northeast. A key at-risk species brought us all together, the New England cottontail, which was being considered to be listed under the Endangered Species Act. Well, I'm proud to say that by working with the states and the partners, these and other ongoing collaborative conservation actions have helped halt the decline and put the New England cottontail on a better path, resulting in it not needing the protections of the ESA. Our first land acquisition for Great Thicket was the 144-acre Nellie Hill Preserve in Dover Plains, New York, which was donated by our partners at the Nature Conservancy in 2017 to officially establish the refuge. When all is said and done, the refuge will comprise a 15,000-acre mosaic of wildlife habitat and working lands that will provide countless recreational opportunities for people to enjoy and to connect with nature for years to come.
San Luis Valley Conservation Area.
Hello, I'm Noelle Walsh, Regional Director for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in Interior Regions 5 and 7. I wish I was there in person today because nothing for me substitutes being able to walk up that boardwalk and see the name and the year of establishment of each of those refuges. It really brings into sharp focus the conservation history of our agency and all those people who came before us. But I'm very happy to be with you, at least virtually, to celebrate the newest National Wildlife Refuge in our region, the San Luis Valley Conservation Area. Established in 2018 as the 567th unit of the refuge system, this 4.2 million acre area in south central Colorado and New Mexico will be comprised largely of voluntary conservation easements. They'll conserve wildlife habitat and connectivity among 4 existing refuges and a variety of public lands in this high mountain valley of the Southern Rockies. Today I'm also proud to say we will be switching out 2 planks on the boardwalk to commemorate some important name changes for our refuges. First, in Montana, the refuge that was formerly known as Half-Breed Lake National Wildlife Refuge is now known as Grass Lake National Wildlife Refuge, a name which much better commemorates the important wetland and wildlife habitats there. And then in North Dakota, recently Congress has passed some legislation that changed the name of the former Sully's Hill National Game Preserve to now be known as the Whitehorse Hill National Game Preserve. This was the culmination of many years of effort on the part of the Spirit Lake Nation, the Fish and Wildlife Service, and others to ensure that the new name for the refuge much better reflects the sacred history and culture and tradition of this special place to the Spirit Lake Nation. Thank you. I'm so happy to be part of today's celebration of America's National Wildlife Refuges.
Green River National Wildlife Refuge.
Hello there, my name is Leopoldo Miranda Castro. I am the Regional Director for the South Atlantic, Gulf, and Mississippi Basin regions of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. As always, I am delighted to be here among friends celebrating something wonderful. And this, friends, is amazing. This plank represents the Green River National Wildlife Refuge. The refuge was established in November 2019, almost a year ago, with a 10-acre donation from a conservation partner in Kentucky. And with this refuge, we will be able to expand hunting opportunities as well as other outdoor recreation opportunities for people of Kentucky and for people across the nation. The refuge will be managed as a mixed resource refuge. It has a lot of hardwood forests, open areas, agricultural lands, and this actually increases diversity at that refuge, increasing the chances and the enjoyment of those by people. So as I always say, it will be enjoyed by critters and the two-legged critters, us, the people that use these lands. And again, so help me celebrate this big accomplishment. Thank you for celebrating with us, and go outdoors and enjoy nature. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
In 1903, Theodore Roosevelt had the forethought of being able to protect and conserve our wildlife and the habitats on which they reside. Today, I am here at Pelican Island, and I'm so excited to have laid the planks of our 3 newest wildlife refuges.
We see the 3 new planks laid today for each new National Wildlife Refuge.
Thank you for joining us for our virtual plank laying ceremony, celebrating Great Thicket and Green River National Wildlife Refuges and the San Luis Valley Conservation Area. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service appreciates the many partners who shared a role in these refuge establishments. These lands are now part of a conservation legacy established by Theodore Roosevelt for all Americans, today and into the future. And I encourage you to visit your local National Wildlife Refuge.
Music by Scott Buckley.